What's up, YouTube? For today's video, with a full new Mega Pokemon team. Now, this is going to be the part number 2 for look at what abilities will these Pokemon actually get. I'm going to give you my thoughts throughout this video, and I'm going to build some movesets based around on what they would actually be. Do you like any of these new Mega Pokemon? Let me know in the comment section, and let me know what abilities you think they'll get to. Give me some detail. I'd love to hear that. If you love the theme teams, you want to support the channel, hit that like button, and let's get into it. First battle here, we got a random battle. This one's against Ace, and we have a Cinderace lead using the Flamethrower. That's an interesting move for Cinderace to use. So, obviously on their team, they did have a Zoroark, right? Now, first Pokemon is Mega Froslass. So I thought Mega Frost, I got burned by the way. That was a pretty salty start. I thought Mega Froslass, upon Mega Evolving, will get Snow Warning as its ability. What do you guys think? I think it's a definite chance because its stats are, you know, fast sweeper still like they were before. And I think it also learns Aurora Veil, so that could be a really, really good actual Mega ability for it, and giving us some more Pokemon that summon Weather on a Mega Evolving. So definite Snow Warning for Froslass. What do you think? All right, we got Pyroar coming in here. Now, Pyroar has been a fairly mid-range Pokemon for a long time, right? What do you think it'll do? I'm thinking they could give it Drought. That would really give it some more usage. It would power up its Fire-type moves as well, and it'd be really, really good for weather teams. So that's a definite thing that I could give it. Another one was Intimidate. If you notice with its Mega, it gets that, it gets that big top part on its mane. It doesn't really change very much, but it does have an appearance of being quite intimidating, right? So I reckon that could work for sure. Or they may give it, something lame like, I don't know, Flash Fire or something like that. But I don't know. I feel like Drought or Intimidate could be good abilities for it to use there. So I had a little bit of a predicament here with the Pyroar because I was trying to use Hyper Voice, and they had a Ninetales at that time as well. So I actually had to swap out there because I got locked into a particular item. And then I had to swap in my Clefable here, and then I had to take multiple attacks when I was already poisoned too. So Flamethrower is going to almost take out my Clefable. This is a bulky special attacking one, so we got Max Health, Max Special Attack. And I gave this Terra Flying as well. So Terra Flying is obviously it gets Fairy and Flying, right? Abilities I feel like it could get Aerial Relay. It could get Triage ability. It could learn moves like Hurricane. Or it could just keep Unaware as well. It could also have that. So that could be some options there for Clefable. It already has fairly good abilities when you truly look at it. So coming back into Pyroar here, we got the Zoroark swapping out. So they've got, I see what they did there. They've got, they've got a couple of Pokemon that learn the same moves. So Cinderace Flamethrower, Ninetales Flamethrower, and Zoroark Flamethrower, right? They're all getting those, moves and stuff to try and, trick the opponent into illusion. So I didn't have a lot to do here with Pyroar. I just went for Solar Beam because it's not like I could easily go for fire moves, with Ninetales around, and then, Cinderace would resist it as well. But since I had Solar Beam there, I thought I may as well go for that since the sun was up. Cinderace is going to go for a Pyro Ball here. I'm able to live that, so I thought, all right, I've done some good damage here to Pyroar. The sun is now gone. I'm going to swap that out because I've got a Choice Scarf, so that may be useful later on in the battle. But at the moment, I'm having a pretty hard time with this team here. So Cinderace is going to go for Pyro Ball, and now we've got Dragonite. So many people have asked me what will Mega Dragonite's ability be. So when it Mega Evolves, it obviously is a special attacker. So I feel like it could have something like, obviously, Aerial, right? So that would be very good for it. I feel like it doesn't really have, being a special attacker, it doesn't really have amazing special moves compared to its physical moves. A lot of them stab moves like Draco, Meteor, and Hurricane are low accuracy. So I reckon it could get something like Contrary or a special attacking boosting ability like Soul Heart, but probably have another name to it, Sort of like a special Moxie, that could work too. Or it could keep its multi-scale ability, right? That still would sort of suit. But I feel like it's going to have to get something for its special attacking side there. All right, so we got Dragonite swapping out. I will tell you guys my EVs and spreads and stuff. So that Dragonite was a Rain Dance, Hurricane, Thunder, and Draco Meteor set, trying to base it off the Mega, right? So at this stage, I thought Malamar would be a good swap in here for Thundurus. I've got Trick Room, and I need to get back into this battle, right? So I thought I'd set Trick Room up here on the swap. And of course, for Mega Malamar, I've got Malamar as when it Mega Evolves, it summons Trick Room. That's what I think the ability is going to be. Because it really makes sense for Malamar to actually have that, right? So I managed to get a Trick Room, its own Trick Room up, and Superpower as well. That's the end of Cinderace, so that gives me a quality start. This Malamar is a sweeping set. I've got Max Health and Max Attack Brave Nature, and I've got Superpower for Contrary, Psycho Cut, and Night Slash. Now, we've also seen in Legends ZA, it actually learns Close Combat now. This is going to be still inferior to Superpower because it won't increase its attack, but it'll make it bulky on the defensive and special defensive side. So maybe you could set up the Trick Room and spam Close Combat and make it like just a real tanky Trick Room setter. Interesting, right? So we got the Thundurus coming in here. I knew I would be able to live one Thunderbolt of it because I'm running Max Health, right? And they're going to be swapping that out. Now Malamar is in a very, very strong position at the moment. I'm sort of starting to tear through their team. So Ninetales is going to come back in here. Psycho Cut's going to drop Ninetales, which is good. Crit obviously didn't matter. My item on the Malamar 2 was a Scope Lens. So Scope Lens was just there for Night Slash, and there you go, Psycho Cut. We've got Kyurem Black coming in here. Now, Kyurem Black will not be able to take a Superpower. Absolutely not. This Pokemon is extremely scary as well. This could quite easily sweep my team. So if I didn't have Trick Room up right now, I'd be in a lot of trouble. So I'm going to go for Superpower here. Kyurem's going to get dropped there. So I was running Max Attack. It wasn't like a bulky set. Sometimes with Malamar, people like to run all bulk and no attack. But in this case, I ran health and attack. So it's hitting really, really hard, right? With the the Terras on this team, I did Stellar for the ones that didn't change type. And I gave Terra to the ones that did change type. So, like, for Fable, I gave Terra Flying. So, we got the Thundurus coming back in, feinting me with the Thunderbolt. But look how many Pokemon I got rid of on their team with that. That was clutch. Now I'm going to return the favor and punish them for giving my Pokemon a Choice Scarf earlier on. It worked out for them earlier on, but now it's not working in their favor because I can outspeed the Thundurus with Hyper Voice and take it out. So we've got one more Pokemon on their team here, and that Pokemon is going to be Rillaboom. Now, I am locked into Hyper Voice. They could go for a Grassy Glide here. I feel like it probably will. It will definitely take me out if it is Terra Grass. No worries. If it's not, then I might barely live. Pyroar's bulk isn't really the greatest in the world. It's like 70-ish in defense, something around there. We've got a different Terra to Terra Grass here. So I was like, all right, that's actually fine because I'm just going to stay in anyway. There's no point actually swapping it. So Hyper Voice does really good damage, even though it's not very effective because I did get a critical hit there. That critical hit didn't really matter all that much because I do have two more Pokemon in the back there. So Terra Rock there to take out the Pyroar. Obviously, that is a defensive Terra for any Fire-type moves there. I couldn't use a Fire-type move regardless. So swapping in Dragonite now. Dragonite's got Draco Meter. Draco Meter is going to do a ton of damage. I've got Stellar as well. So even if that didn't get a critical hit before, I was probably going to expect this to do at least... Yeah, you'd have to expect it to at least do around 65, 70%, maybe more, depending on how the Rillaboom was run there, right? So we're going to get that Draco Meteor off, and with Dragonite, it's got good bulk to it as well, so yeah, that was enough to take out the Rillaboom there in the end. And that was a really, really good battle. I hope you guys enjoyed the first one. That was a good team as well. That was like quite a powerful team. So I managed to come in clutch there for sure. Malamar was key, getting my team back into that with Trick Room and stuff for sure. Let's get on to battle number 2 here. I think I've explained... No, I haven't quite explained all the Pokemon I'm going to use today. So we've got another random battle here. If there's any non-English names, please translate them. They'll be awesome. So we've got a Koraidon lead here. So not really the greatest matchup for me. Quite a hard, difficult Pokemon. Now, I do have Chopper Berry on this, and I do have Intimidate. Well, I tried to do that to, Chopper Berry to sort of mimic Intimidate, with Unnerve and Chopper Berry and stuff like that. I was going to give it Adrenaline Orb too, since that, actively is affected by Intimidate, but I thought that's not very useful, right? So I'm going to get dropped anyway to Collision Course Karada. No way I was going to live that, even with the Chopper Berry there. So going into Clefable now, we've discussed Clefable. In this team, I'm also going to be using 8 Pokemon. So I'm going to do multiple battles with different Pokemon. So there's going to be 2 extra Pokemon you haven't seen quite yet. I'm going to get actually a really nice live there, and I'm able to get a Moonblast off on Koraidon. I was running max health too, so that is the end of Clefable, unfortunately, because I died to the burn. I would have liked to actually have lived that one to see what the next Pokemon was, so I could swap in an appropriate matchup, but I was happy to get rid of Koraidon, right? Next Pokemon we got is going to be, we've had Kyron Black, now we have Kyron White, so both pretty scary Pokemon. Bringing in Froslass now. So this Froslass was a snow cloak set, so I could get some evasion once the snow was up. But if you think about it, right, with Froslass, you Mega Evolve it, you get the snow, and then you could have an instant Aurora Veil Pokemon. Like Ninetales or Alola probably would never even be used after that. No joking, right? Or it could be definitely used on that team. At the same time, you could have 2 fast Aurora Veil Pokemon. Just a thought, because it does get Aurora Veil. The groundwork is there for it to have a snow. So we've got setting up the Veil now. I thought that was more important. I could have gone Destiny Bomb. I actually could have. And a lot of the times I did go for it instead of setting the Veil up. But sometimes I get like a miss, and then I could go for Destiny Bond, or I'd try and go for Destiny Bond, and then they'd miss. And I was like, I'll just set up the Veil, right? So half my team's gone. Things are looking pretty desperate right now. Bringing in Malamar again. I feel like Malamar will be quite good sort of Pokemon here. I should be able to live like 1 attack with the Veil up. We got Ice Burn here, which is a move you don't get to see very often. It's a 2-turn move. I'm going to set up the Trick Room here, after I Mega Evolve, all right? I don't know. I feel like I definitely feel like it has something to do with Trick Room, right? I'm probably mostly strongly against anything else. I reckon it definitely is going to have something to do with Trick Room. Like, out of all the Megas, I'm pretty confident about that. It could turn out that it just keeps contrary to. I could be wrong about that too, but something to think about, right? So I'm going to go for Super Power here, boosting up my stats again. I need to have some speed control here, and I need to do some damage, right? So we've got Icicle Sphere. This one is going to be hitting me. It's not loaded dice, as we've seen. It's not loaded dice, and the snow's going to disappear too. So Super Power is easily going to take out Kyron there. So this has a lot of boosts now. It's got good defensive boost, but it is interesting. You could always thinking you could Mega Evolve Malamar and start using Close Combat, and then Close Combat make you really, really tanky, and you could just be there as a support Pokemon, right? All right, so we got a Dustmane actually coming in here, and Super Power does really good damage, but just not enough to actually, take it out. Now, my Trick Room was, it was on borrowed time, right? I think I had 1 more turn left here. That was my final turn. So Sunsteel Strike does nothing. So I thought, well, I may as well set it up again. There's some really powerful Pokemon in the back here. I have to have some sort of speed control, on Malamar, even if I don't faint them. So I was able to withstand another Sunsteel, which is really cool, and I can get up a second Trick Room here, and I can finish it off with Super Power. So now I've got a solid amount of turns to try and do some damage to the opponent. I'm doing some really, really good damage too. So that is the end of the Dustmane. Now I have done a Mega Theme team already on the starters, and I will be doing a 3rd part to this as well, because there's some other remaining Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet that I haven't done, and I didn't include in this video. It was a little bit too much to put into one video, right? So we'll do another one of these. Hope you're looking forward to that. So we got Zacian coming in. Zacian uncrowned, gets absolutely destroyed. And then we got the crown version. So I was like, well, I have got a lot of stats up. That's like, what, 5 plus 5 in attack? Let's go ahead and go for that now. And guess what? It lived on 1 health. I was like, oh, come on. That must have been... it must have been minimum damage. I don't know how that lived, and it's going to finish with a Moonblast. So... I know, sometimes I see a lot of them that have like competitive set, then I have like Moonblast on there for a bit of like mixed attacker. So, you know, the Malamar suite went down the toilet, but still very, very good. It got past a lot of Pokemon. We got Eelektross here, so we haven't looked at Eelektross yet. I went for a Disrespect knockoff. Got to knock off that Rusted Sword, guys. And Eelektross. So Eelektross obviously has Levitate as its normal ability. I feel like it Mega Evolving and keeping that ability would not be out of the question, you know. Or it has something like Earth Eater, like, you know, Orthworm's ability. That would be even better to have that. Or it gets Belly Bolt's ability, Electromorphosis, right? So it could get a boost on its electrical moves. But I feel like it's going to more have... I reckon it's just going to have Levitate still, or maybe Earth Eater. I don't know. Like, I don't think it's going to change too much. They don't really like to change Eelektross's ability that much. So I don't know. You tell me what you think so far about all the Pokemon I've talked about. Have you got anything to add to that? Please put it in the comments below. I'm actually looking forward to reading your comments here. So we got a Zamazenta sliding in with a Body Press Terror. I went for a Stellar Drain Punch here to try and take it out. Unfortunately, it's not going to be super effective. It's going to be neutral and it's going to do nothing. Eelektross, I gave Expert Belt too. Like, Eelektross is a very, very versatile Pokemon. It can run physical and special, you know, support, lots of good stuff like that. It's a great Pokemon that can fit so many different roles, right? So unfortunately, that's the end of my Eelektross. I've got, I'm trying to remember what I actually brought in this team. So, you know, I'm cycling through 8 Pokemon. Oh, I had Dragonite as the last Pokemon. So I thought, you know, with Dragonite in the back, I can go for Hurricane, which is super effective. So here comes Behemoth Bash. That's going to do absolutely nothing with multi-scale, and Hurricane just completely blows Zamazenta away, and that is the end of the battle. I don't know if that crit mattered. It could have, but I feel like I might have lived the attack after that. I think I was pretty safe in that battle, unless, of course, I missed it and stuff. Anyway, hope you guys are enjoying the video so far. Hit that like button. Tell what you think about the new Megas and what abilities you think they're going to get. Let's get on to battle number 3. So another random battle. This one's against Tavach. I don't know how to say that. We've got an Ambipom lead. So, you know, Ambipom, obviously Ambipom's going to go for Fake Out. It's, you know, a typical Ambipom lead, right? Doesn't really do too much outside of that. So, you know, Fake Out plus normal move and coverage move. Either a dark or a, you know, ghost move or something like that, and U-turn. Generally, that's how Ambipom runs, right? So we've got Skarmory here. So this is my sweeping Skarmory set. It's a weakness policy, weak armor set, because when Skarmory gets its, you know, if you've had a look at Mega Skarmory's stats so far, it's very much a fat boost in attack rather than having its superior defenses like a normal Skarmory does. So they're definitely focusing it to be a fast physical attacker, but still has good bulk. Not insane bulk, but still good bulk, right? So that Ambipom actually stole my weakness policy with Covet, which is pretty funny. And we've got the Glimmora coming in here. So I went for Ironhead. Ironhead absolutely blows Glimmora away. I actually swept a lot of people with this Skarmory. Like, a lot of people were caught off guard by this. I completely, like, dumpstered multiple, like, people with really, like, really good teams as well. They just weren't prepared for this sort of set. That's why I think that Mega Skarmory is going to be very, very powerful, like, if it runs a moveset like this, you know. I'm not saying you'll have, you know, Terra and stuff, but its attack stat's going to more than make up for that. And it might even get some better, like, moves and stuff. So we've got a Terra Normal Ambipom. Obviously, they're trying to go for Fake Out. They're trying to get rid of my Skarmory and stuff, making use of their priority and weak armor and stuff. At this stage, I'm sort of locked in because... you know, I've got my Sword Dance up and stuff. I've got my speed boost. There's no point swapping out, right? So I'm going to get flinched here. I've got some options. I looked at their team. I'm like, you're not going to keep your Ambipom in. You're going to swap into your next Pokemon Incineroar, right? Because it's got Intimidate. Now, I knew they'd do that. I predicted that, and I went for Drill Run. Drill Run does really, really good damage. It's a great coverage move for any Fire-type Pokemon and Steel-type Pokemon and Poison-type Pokemon too, but mainly Fire and mainly Steel. That gave me some really, really good damage there. Now Incineroar is virtually going to have to be sacked here because if they go into another Pokemon, it's gonna faint, right? I'm going to outspeed it. So that was a really good play there, really strong play getting rid of Incineroar earlier on. Now they've got their Ambipom here, which is going to be able to defeat me here. But, you know, look how much work Skarmory put in there. I forced the Terra, I took out Glimmora, and I took out Incineroar. So that was a really, really good start to the battle there with what you would consider a gimmicky set. Skarmory's not really made out to be a physical attacker. So that shows you sort of how good Mega Skarmory could be. So we've got Eelektross coming in. Now, Eelektross has got Drain Punch, and I thought, well, Drain Punch will completely annihilate this, you know, with Expert Belt, and I'll get all my health back. So it was close, but it didn't quite take it out there. Very, very close. So it actually flung my Weakness Policy back at me. That's pretty interesting. And now it's going to use Cobbett. So Cobbett will hit hard with Terra Normal and Technician. Look how hard that hit. Very, very impressive damage. And obviously my Expel Belt is gone, but Ambipom is also gone too. So that's the end of their Terra, and that's the end of their fast fake out user, you know, Ambipom. My EVs on Eelektross, max health and max attack out of a nature. Work fairly well, but as I said, you can run it as a physical, a special, a mixed, all those sort of things. Next Pokemon is Galvantula. Now, Galvantula, I was thinking, well, I might be able to live this badly, and I did. I lived the Bug Buzz, and I managed to get off a Fire Punch, which is excellent, and I put it all the way down to 1 health. Wait, that wasn't a sash. Oh, it wasn't a sash. I thought it was a Focus Sash. Oh, okay. All right, well, it was a raw 1 HP lived then. Okay. So swapping Clefable here, I am poisoned from Glimmora. I can finish this off with virtually anything. The best they could probably do is use like Thunder, and that's about it. And it's going to go for Discharge here. So Discharge is a bit weaker. However, they lucked out and got a crit there. I was unaware, and I was Assault Vest too. So that's the end of Zippy the Spider. We've got 2 more Pokemon left here. Our next Pokemon we've got here is going to be Hydreigon. So I thought, well, I've got Assault Vest. Is this bait? What are they really going to be able to use here against me? Are they going to try and flinch me? Now, I decided, I was like, you know what? I've got a very comfortable lead here. I'm really dominating them at the moment. I've made some excellent plays to get there. Let's go for Terra Flying, and I was hoping they understand why I did this for you. I went for Terra Flying to show off, you know, Mega Compatible. If the nicknames didn't give it away. So Fire Blast's going to do donkeys because I got an Assault Vest, and I'm going to send Hydreigon to the moon. So that is the end of Hydreigon. That would have done 1,000,000% damage there. Since they also used their Terra earlier on, I'm sure that was probably something like Steel or Poison, right? Last Pokemon is Metagross. Is going to pop an Agility here. Now, I went for Fire Blast here, and I was like, Fire Blast should do like around half health, and it did a little bit over half, and I got a burn there. So that was very, very handy getting that burn for sure. But, you know, I still did have 3 more Pokemon in the back, right? So this Metagross is going to outspeed all of my team. Now, easy. I don't think I built any priority moves onto this. As I said, I was trying to build moves that were based around what I thought their abilities were and stuff like that. So some of them were a little bit, you know, gimmicky sets there. They still work though. So that is going to be the end of Clefable. So like with Clefable, I think it's going to be more of just a raw special attacking Pokemon. Having that flying typing is not going to be very good for supporting, in my opinion. It's opening up to too many weaknesses, right? So we got a little bit of burn damage on Metagross. So I'm going to swap into Dragonite. I've still got my Multiscale up here. I've got Rain Dance and Thunder. I thought, well, I'll just attack it. It's going to go for Zen Headbutt, and obviously that's going to do nothing, whether it's burned or not burned. So setting up the Rain Dance here, I thought, well, I could have gone for Thunder there, but I thought, I'll set the Rain up. Now, if this Metagross wasn't burned there, I would have gone right into Malamar, and I would have set Trick Room up right away, and that would have shut Metagross down. So just bear that one in mind. So I would have shut it down because it's got agility, it's got Meteor Mash. It's not going to run Bullet Punch, right? It's not going to be a Bullet Punch set. That would be a bit strange having that with agility. So it got an attack boost with Meteor Mash, which is going to help it out a lot, but it's still not going to be enough to be able to, you know, kind of get through a Dragonite there. It's got Zen Headbutt for flinching. I can see what they're trying to do there, and I just went for Hurricane and took it out there. But pretty solid battle there, and I didn't really have a great start to the battle, actually. That Skarmory really, really teared through their team. But, you know, even if Metagross didn't get burned there, I had it well handled with Malamar. But good battle there. Good to show off how good that Skarmory went against some, you know, pretty good Pokemon there too. We got battle number 4 here. This one is against a random battle against Michael, where we have a Koraidon lead. If you're enjoying today's video, hit that like button, people. It makes my videos appear in your subscriptions in the side. You know, a lot of you say you don't see them, so that's the thing. Drop a comment and a like on the video. Okay, so we've got a bit of a dicey matchup for Skarmory there. I thought they may go for Flare Blitz. And I was like, maybe they don't want to expend their health at the moment. And they went for Drain Punch. So Drain Punch is going to give me a nice big speed boost, and I had the Sword Dance up. Right? Dual Wing Beat is going to completely dominate Koraidon in one shot there. So that was excellent. That was a perfect setup here. So Koraidon's down, and we had another Koraidon. This time it's the shiny Koraidon. So I was like, all right. Well, we've seen dual. Are they going to go for is this going to be a Terra? Or are they, you know, going to hope that I miss or something, or it lives? And this does even more. That does even more than it did to the last one. So that's 2 Koraidons down, and they salty rage quit. So Skarmory defeats 2 Koraidon easy peasy, guys. I don't know. I'm just telling you, like, physical Skarmory is going to be pretty strong. Like, if this gimmick set can do this, imagine it with an actual full-blown decent attack stat. All right, next battle here. This one is against Evo, and we have another round of battle today. We've got a Lapras lead here. So I lead with my Froslass, and I thought, well, it's not really the greatest lead because I'm going to give Lapras bulk, and I don't really have a lot to hit it with outside of Blizzard, which is going to do 2 damage. Lapras is going to go for a Hydro Pump there, and I thought I'll set up the Veil here because Hydro Pump is a little bit dicey. It might miss, you know, I might be able to miss with my ability. Instead, they went for a Rain Dance. It's like, okay. I noticed on their team they did have a Pokemon that benefited from Rain Dance. So I thought, that's fine. I'll go for Destiny Bomb here. With the extra rain up, that'll actually give Hydro Pump enough base power to feint me with Veil up. And that was perfectly played there. Lapras down and Froslass down. So not only did I take the Lapras out, I managed to get the Aurora Veil up at the same time. So I definitely won that matchup there for sure. I guess the only thing they did was set the rain up, but that didn't bother me because I had Dragonite with Thunder and Hurricane, right? That set me up too. Next Pokemon is going to be Archaludon. Obviously, they're using Electroshock here. Nothing special or amazing there. I'm going to go for Draco Meteor. Good damage. 3/4 of damage there. Really, really good. And they're going to get a Stamina boost. Now, I've got Whiteherb here. Whiteherb is going to obviously help with that special attack drop there. So we've got a Electroshock, so giving our Archaludon a +1 in special attack, but as you know, with multi-scale, Dragonite is going to be able to eat this like a snack, right? That didn't do much at all. So now what I can do is I can go for another Draco Meteor, or just try and go for Hurricane or Thunder and sort of conserve my special attack. So they swapped out there and went into Iron Valley. Now, I went for Draco Meteor. I was like, well, that's okay. Nothing of value was sort of lost there. I might be able to live this. And I did. I lived the Moonblast with Dragonite's nice special defense, a Life Orb one too. And I was able to go for Hurricane. 100% accuracy, completely dominated it. So Dragonite is really like powering through this team. I'd say that was more of a sweeping set. A mixed sweeping set, judging on the damage that they did. Next Pokemon is going to be Flygon. And, well, I've got Draco Meteor here, and that is not going to miss. And guess what? That is 1 Flygon. So Dragonite, special Dragonite completely dominating this team here. And I don't think they like that very much. So we got another Salty Rage quit here. So 2-in-1 video. Physical Skarmory and special Dragonite here only on PIMPNITE channel. Let's get on to battle number 6, D9. Next battle here, not really sure of the trainer's name, but we've got a Victreebel. Oh, we didn't even talk about Victreebel. Okay, because I haven't seen it yet. So Victreebel, I've got this one as having Thick Fat or Solar Power. It could even have Keep Chlorophyll as well. It's a big bouncy. Oh, I don't know. It's a goofy, big goofy bouncing sack, right? So it could have anything. But Thick Fat and Solar Power, Chlorophyll seem fairly safe sort of bets on what it could have there. I don't know. Like, if you've got any other ideas, let me know. It could have Gluttony, but it wouldn't because it's got a Mega Stone. So I guess you got to think about that too. So that's the end of Haxorus the Tiny. I've got Mega Victreebel. Sorry, I've got Victreebel, not Mega Victreebel. He'll be bouncing everywhere, right? Now, I will be doing, so many people have already asked me this, when Pokemon Champions releases next year, I will definitely be doing content on it, right? So I'll be covering all the new Megas, all the Pokemon we haven't used for ages. I may even actually, you know how I do my moveset guides too? I might extend them to Champions as well, so do ones on there, because there's going to be so many different formats and stuff you'd imagine, and rule sets. It's going to be pretty interesting for sure. We got a Skeledirge. That's going to take out my Victreebel. Not much I really could have done there. I got some. I actually went for I went for Fire Blast before that, which is curious. So Fire Blast and Torch Song. Oh yeah, and yeah, that's right. So I brought in my Clefable here, and then they went Ovi. I'm like, bro, you've got Fire Blast, Torch Song, and Ovi. Do you want to burn me anymore? Like, what's the last move? Ember. So Clefable, I had Psychic here, wiggling that pink finger, and that is going to be enough to take out the Skeledirge there. Interesting. They, I don't know. What do they have? Terra Blast Fire on that too? I don't know. Next Pokemon is a Hackmon. It's going to be a blue Politoed. I don't know. I just think there's some potential there for the other Megas. But I think there's 6 other Mega Pokemon to go that I'll do in the next video. So, of course, I got Froslass there. Totally never ever saw that one coming from Politoed. So, Politoed got me good there. I've got Fire Blast on it, but it's a physical set, right? And it took out my Clefable, so it was able to hit me a lot harder instead of, compared to like a special one, right? So, I've got 2 down, like, all right, I've got to get back into this game. I've got Pyroar. How about I set the sun up, because, the Drought ability, it's got the Drought ability. Well, that's what I think it could have. That would really, really be good for Pyroar, I think, because Pyroar, I looked at all the Mega stats, and this probably has the worst stats out of all of them. Real talk, right? It's underwhelming as hell, right? So, give it Drought. That'd really give it some good uses. I'm not saying it's going to be broken, but at least it's got a good ability, right? It might get used more. So I went for a fat Solar Beam there, doing some really good damage to Politoed. However, Politoed is going to be able to still feint me there. Pyroar's got quite paper-thin defenses. Now, I had a look at Pyroar's stats too. It does have Moxie ability like normal, but it's not a special. It's not like a physical attacker. It's still a special attacker. So I thought I'd bring in Malamar here, the GOAT, and they're going to go for a bounce. I was like, that's actually not that good. Because I've got Trick Room up, I want to attack them right after. So now, since Politoed went for a bounce, that's actually wasted 1 turn of my, precious Trick Room, right? So couldn't do anything. I just went for Night Slash, and bounce actually misses. So I was expecting to get paralyzed there. Like after that ice, after that freeze, right? So going for a fat superpower, that is going to be the end of the Toad, and we all know that crit mattered too. So now I'm pretty set up here. I've got I've got 2 more turns left for Trick Room, because remember I did waste 1 setting up, and I did waste 1 with bounce. So next Pokemon's going to be Pikachu. Now, Pikachu can't do a lot except that if it had Fake Out or a Sash, but most of the time, 90.9% of the time, it's going to run Light Ball. So that's going to be in a Pikachu there. So that's good. We got 2 more Pokemon left on their team. 1 more turn of Trick Room as well. Now, we've got a Koraidon, another one. People love their Koraidons, right? Now, at this stage, I had quite a few, I had 2 superpowers. Like, well, I've got Adamant Nature. This is Stab. This should do a lot of damage. Psycho Cut should do a lot. And if I get a critical hit, well, they're cooked, right? So now we've got a Terra Fighting. It's like, okay, this is good. Yeah, it's going to be, I know it's going to be super effective now. And he lived on 1 health. I was like, oh, come on. So the merchant available, people, again, it kept happening so many times. I don't know why, it just did. So obviously Malamar is going to be able to live that one, which is good. It's got a lot of superpower boosts up, but the second one was dicey. It was like, I don't think I'm going to live this. If I do, it's going to have to be minimum damage. And then they pulled out a close combat. I'm like, bro, really wanted to take me out. So that's the end of Malamar, sadly, but I really pushed them down to the last couple of Pokemon. So, all right, I've got 2 Pokemon left. What am I going to do here? I've got to be able to live these attacks. So let's go into Dragonite. I know that I can live Collision Course, Close Combat. It's going to have to be a Dragon move there. And when if I Outrage, I'm like, oh, nah. That did a lot of damage. I lived on 19 health, and I didn't whiff the Draco Meteor on 1 health either. I didn't want to use could, like, when you think about it, I couldn't use Thunder and I couldn't use Hurricane, right? Because the sun was up. That was risky as. So I had to drop the Draco there to get rid of it. Last Pokemon here, I've got the White Herb too, which is good for that. Last Pokemon's Lucario. So, like, have you got Extreme Speed or Bullet Punch or anything like that? Let's see what it is. I've got one more Pokemon. I've got Eelektross in the back, so I was feeling pretty good, right? We had those 3 Durex Triple Large. Now, it didn't actually outspeed me, so clearly it doesn't have that. It has close combat, so like, all right, it's a fully physical set, but didn't have extreme speed. Interesting. Or it might be mixed as well. It can run mixed, like CC, Flash Cannon, you know, stuff like that. Now, Mega Eelektross. Well, Eelektross is my... Oh, look at that. Amazing. We've got Stella here. So, Stella. We're going to go for a minty fresh flavor tonight. I'm going to go for a Stella Fire Punch here. Fire Punch, Drain Punch. It doesn't really matter. I've got Expert Belt. It's going to do incredible amounts of damage there. And they've already used up their Terra earlier on their Koridon. So, I was feeling pretty safe here. So Drain Punch, see what I did there? So Drain Punch does very underwhelming damage to Eelektross, and they've got Drain Punch and Close Combat. I'd say they've got 2 special other moves beside that, and Fire Punch is just gonna annihilate Lucario. And that is the end of the battle. Thank you to my random opponent for the battle there. I was worried if my Dragonite had missed Drake or Meteor there, I probably would have lost that one. All right, let's get on to battle number 7 here. I've got 8 battles in tonight's video. We've got another random opponent here, and we've got a Cleaver lead. Have totally never seen one of them before. Now, this was interesting. So, I had my Dragonite as the lead because I knew they had Cleaver as the lead. So, I thought I may as well just leave with it because they're just going to go set their little stones up instead, right? And Hurricane Lance does very good damage, and I get a Confusion, which is a good start to the battle. I was like, hit yourself. And be really, really good, right? However, they go for Stone Axe. Now, Stone Axe didn't actually put rocks on the field, so this was a sheer force set. I was like, oh, that's actually good. Most of the time, you don't see that, right? You know, the benefit of doing super effective or good attack damage and putting stealth rocks on the field makes it you don't see sheer force very often at all. But that was interesting. That was seen. So we got a Hydrapple coming in here, and unfortunately, Super Sweet Syrup is going to activate my White Herb. It's going to get rid of it. It's like, oh man, that sucks, because I could have gone for Drake or Meteor, and then, you know, I would have been fine. But I was like, you know what, that's fine. That's going to easily get rid of that. So that's the end of Cleaver and Hydrapple. So a solid start to the battle there. Special Dragonite pulling through, right? Special Dragonite isn't definitely not overpowered. But it's a good surprise Pokemon, and it works particularly well in the rain too. It's got the moves to support it, like, you know, Thunder and Hurricane and stuff. So we got Belly Bolt coming in. I thought, well, this could be risky to try and get a weakness policy. Now, I was so salty, right? Because, like, okay, if I go Sword Dance here, and if I'm able to live electric type move on this, I'll get weakness policy, right? But the problem is they've got Sucker Punch, which I just seen then, right? But then I live Parabolic Charge. Like, wow, that's awesome. So I lived it without Sturdy. Now, you wouldn't believe it, right? I had the biggest, fattest sneeze come out of nowhere, and I just hit a random button and it attacked. Oh, I was going to try and mind game them with Sword Dance for ages, and I had a massive sneeze there, and I just, you know, I just hit it against the controller. I was so angry. I was like, I reckon I would have been able to out-predict them. I'm pretty good with those sort of things, but that's how it is. It is what it is. I mean, I'm pretty sure I've already proven that Skarmory is going to be very good with a Sword Dance or physical set. So bringing in Dragonite now, I set the rain up. I was like, well, this is not going to do that much, and it did over half health, so it's fairly respectable. However, this is Electromorphosis and Parabolic Charge combination, and that takes my Dragonite. Belly Bolt's pretty good. Electromorphosis, didn't I say another Pokemon could have that? Oh, I said that Mega Eelektross could have that. That could be a possibility too. However, I still feel that would be a nerf though, because it loses its, it loses its ground immunity. So we got a Clefable here. Well, I'm not going to go Terra Flying, that's for sure. I'm going to send Belly Bolt to the moon. Almost send it to the moon, but we're going to have another blast off afterwards. Here comes Parabolic Charge. That's modest. That has to be modest nature, because I've got max health and Assault Vest. So They are absolutely running Modest Nature on this. I can absolutely guarantee that. Sucker Punch, I'd say they've got nothing for attack. It's just there for, you know, to finish the Pokemon off. So Belly Bolt finally exits the field there, goes onto the moon. It's gonna. Hey, how would a frog jump on the moon, right? Think about, like, say a frog's jumping on the moon. Would it take, like, 10 years to come down? So that, you know, the frog jumps up, right? Homie's waiting an hour to come down. No, it just flies off into space, right? Wouldn't its inertia, like, make it go into space? Wow, that's incredible. I might be wrong about that. Anyway, someone give me a scientific explanation of what would happen if a frog went for a jump on the moon, all right? I want to see it in the comment section. So in comes Iron Hands there. That completely destroyed me. And I thought, this isn't bad for Malamar. I might be able to set the Trick Room up here because this is a pretty close battle so far. And this is a fairly decent Pokemon. So they're going to go for Drain Punch, doing some really good damage to me there. And getting a fair bit of health back. So I thought, I'm going to need to get superpowers up here. So there's one superpower did not, even with a critical hit, didn't take it out. Iron Hands has got some very, very impressive bulk for sure. So I thought, well, I'm going to go for Trick Room here, but they went for Volt Switch. So that's going to actually allow them to bring that back in later on, go for Fake Out, get some damage, and then stall that in my Trick Room. So that was a good play there. So bringing Koraidon now, this is a mega, mega problem, but as you know, I went for the Trick Room this turn, so I've got the speed control again. If I didn't go for that, I think this battle was over, like, considering what I had left. So I'm like, this is really good. So I went for Psycho Cut here. Great damage. I made so many, like, close calls at fainting Koraidon. I always, like, just missed, but that was still pretty good. I only had +1 at attack there, so I was like, that's fine. I've got 2 more Pokemon to, to finish this off. So I had Eelektross this time. I was like, Eelektross can finish this off nicely. It can handle... Actually, it can handle Iron Hands really well, too, because its electric moves will do donkeys, right? So I just quickly punched Koraidon right in the tire, pop that tire. And don't you hate when you pop your tire? I mean, that sucks. Like, I had one the other day, one of those stupid, like, pop rivets went into my tire. We've got Fake Out, obviously, here, trying to stall out that Trick Room. And doing a little bit of damage to Eelektross. So I just went for Drain Punch here and got rid of that. So Eelektross is in a very, very powerful position right now. It's got most of its health left, and it's got a wide variety of moves too. So they've got one more Pokemon. Now the last Pokemon that was on their team, and also had the Pokemon fan, was Wo-Chan. So I was like, oh. Now Wo-Chan generally runs a very stally set. So I smelled a rat. I'm like, you're probably just going to go for Leech Seed and try and stall me. Let's go into Mega Victreebel, eat that Leech Seed like a snack, play that fiddle, and then go for a, like, Sludge Wave. Or I could go for a Sunny Day Stellar Weather Ball. So I was like, I'll set the sun up. You know, snails don't like sun. You know, they don't like heat. They only like cold, right? So Knockoff actually does a pretty good amount of damage there. It gets rid of my Heat Rock. And I've got a Stellar Weather Ball. So I thought, if they use Knockoff again, they're not going to faint me because they won't have the bonus damage of me holding an item. So this will be good, right? Will I be able to take it out in one shot? I was curious because Wo-Chan has got some pretty good bulk about it, right? I also have to do, the Treasures of Ruin. I actually haven't done that, uploaded that team yet. That's the Shiny Treasures of Ruin. I was meant to do it like months ago or whenever they all came out. So that one is coming soon too, I promise. Knockoff, as I said before, was not going to faint unless they got a critical hit there. Almost took it out with a Weather Ball. Very, very impressive damage. I can go for anything to take them out. Why didn't I go for a Disrespect Giga Drain there? I don't know. I should have. But anyway, that is the end of the Snail. And that's also the end of the 7th battle as well. Victreebel coming in clutch there at the end for some big damage. Would Eelektross be able to beat that? I think it would have with Drain Punch. It would have outlasted it. Let's get on to the final battle here. This one is against Toxara. This is battle number 8. If you've enjoyed yourself so far, hit that like button. Tell me what you think about these Mega Pokemon, what abilities they get. Can be one, can be all of them. I love to read your comments. Seriously, guys, I really like reading your comments, so put them below, right? Like, I go through my comments each day and read and reply to people, so I like that, right? All right, so we've got a Rhyperior lead here. It's going to set up the Stealth Rocks. I'm going to punch it. Oh, it's a hack mod as well. It's one of those stupid .com websites. Had a few people ask me, do you reckon in Gen 10 in the next game, do you reckon they'll have these .com Pokemon? Well, they will. As long as you can nickname a Pokemon and put it on Surprise Trade, they'll be there. Unless they get rid of Surprise Trade in the next generation. I don't know if they will, though, because that's been going since X and Y, and I think that would be... I think quite a few people wouldn't like that, because it's interesting, because you can get like a fun team from there, you can trade early in game and get some other random Pokemon. I think it's a good feature. It's just, sadly, a few have abused it, you know? It's kind of like in real life. This is why we can't have nice things, you know? There's always that one person, you know, or a few people who want to spoil it. So bringing in Skarmory, I thought this isn't a bad swap in. They won't be able to use Earthquake. How about we get a Sword Dance up here? I know that I'm not going to probably be able to get a weakness policy unless it had, like, say, Fire Punch or something, but I felt like I could get a Weak Armor. Now, the trick, the Weak Armor was just there to represent, you know, Mega Skarmory's speed, you know, big boost in speed, right, in its stat. So that's going to take out Rhyperior, so that's not a bad start to the battle there. Looking at the team in the team preview, I was like, man, I've actually got a really good chance of outspeeding everything, unless I've got some sort of priority move there. So in comes Electivire. I knew they'd sent this in. It's a good swap in, but I'm prepared this moveset definitely for electric type Pokemon. You know, being a flying type too, and fire type Pokemon, really, really good coverage there. The only bad thing about Drill Run is it can miss. It has a chance of missing, but Electivire, no worries at all. Does that say plus? Oh, all right, so we got Greninja coming in. I was like, well, Dual Wing Beat, I've got +2. Will it be enough to take out the Greninja? So going for a Greninja with the Dual Wing Beat. First one crits. I was like, yep, you're cooked. So that's the end of Greninja. So I've taken out a Rhyperior, Electivire, and Greninja with the Skarmory so far. Think about that. Next Pokemon we got is Iron Bundle. So another I think this is a full .com team. It's just straight up hacks, right? So I got that Quark Drive in special attack, not speed. I'm thinking Dual Wing Beat won't be enough. This thing has a really, really good base defensive stats. So I thought the only way to take this out is to go Terra Steel, hope that Iron Head will do the job, or I get a flinch. That's going to be the only way I'm going to be able to get through Iron Bundle, because it does have a very sizable defensive stat. So go for that Skarmory. That looks really good with Axe on its head. Go for that Terra Steel Skarmory, and I got a flinch on 1 HP. You wouldn't read about it. So I was like, this is really funny. So Iron Head is going to take out the Iron Bundle. Man, how good is this Skarmory going? Also, you can adapt. I actually did a moveset guide for this Skarmory, and if you want to, you know, if you like battle Pokemon, competitive battling, or VGC and stuff, I have done some builds for this Skarmory set on my channel too. If you want to check it out, it's already up there. And some meme sets too. So now we got Gengar, we got a Timmy Terra here. I was like, what are they going to do here? They went for Terra Electric. I'm like, are you going to go for Terra Blast? Because even if I went for Drill Run there, that wouldn't have mattered. I just went for Iron Head. I guess they thought that resisted it. But even with the Sword Dance up, you know, the Sword Dance and the Terra Steel, the resistance still wasn't enough, because Gengar's of quite a frail Pokemon, right? Last Pokemon is the Scizor. Can we get the Skarmory sweep? I'll be honest with you guys, I did get a lot of sweeps of this already, but this one had the most challenging counters in it. So like, all right, here comes a Bullet Punch. They didn't Bullet Punch. I went for the Dual Wing Beat. 1 crit. Went for the second, and it lived. I was like, no! I was so close. Scizzor's going to go for a salty Brick Breaker, take out by Skarmory. But man, how good was this Skarmory? Like, it performed very, very well. Obviously, it's gimmick in nature. It needs its ability to activate to get speed, but it just gives you a good idea of, you know, how good Skarmory is going to be, right? I think it's going to be a very good Pokemon. So I'm going to finish off Scizor with a Disrespect Draco Meteor, and that is the end of the battles for the Mega Pokemon team. I'll try and get that next Mega Pokemon team up tomorrow or in the coming future. Drop a like if you enjoyed it. Leave me a comment. I'll catch you next time. Peace.